am Zach. Thanks for watching another Monster Garden reading. This time I'm doing an original spread called Understanding the Situation. So in my last video I did an original spread called You Right Now that was really basic. This one's a little more fun. So it could be about any situation at work, at home, family, or whatever, any kind of situation you're in that you want a little bit of insight into. And it's a general reading, so it's still going to be pretty general, but you can think about it in terms of whatever situation you want. So there's 3 stacks, there's 3 piles, pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. So please just take a minute now to choose the pile that you feel drawn to. You can pause the video if you need to, and then look at the timestamps in the description box, and that'll take you to the part of the video with your reading in it. So thanks. And I guess I will just go into the readings now. Thank you. Okay, hi pile 1. This is your reading. If you chose this big piece of driftwood. So the way this reading works, there's 3 cards representing the situation itself. The idea is like a situation, a stable situation has 3 sides. Then the middle card is where this situation is headed. And then this final card is a piece of advice, something to keep in mind, or something outside the situation that's affecting it, or potentially advice or something like that. So let's just get started. This should be not too long. Let's look at the situation itself first. So we've got Tukas, boy on a journey. He's a monster from my game Monster Garden. We've got creation, bring your vision to life. And then we've got gatekeeper, explore the unknown. So this is a very exciting vibe for me. I love the creation card. It's about just enacting your vision, making your mark on the world, just having belief in your vision and the things you want to create, and just creating them for yourself. And this one's about like going to other worlds, exploring your imagination, exploring the world of monsters. Of course, I love monsters, so this one is just like full of imagination and potential and unknown energy. And then Tukas is like getting in touch with your inner child and, not knowing what you're doing. Again, kind of unknown energy of no adult pressure to perform or be practical, just doing what feels right for you. This very much feels like getting back like a kid, just drawing things, for example, making something, expressing yourself, not because you're trying to please someone or make a certain end result, just like for the fun of it, creating for the fun of it, like a little kid. Not knowing where it's leading or not knowing what you're doing, just letting your imagination run wild. So this is a great situation to be in. Maybe this is like you found a new hobby or something you want to explore, or maybe you're just feeling like you want to do this more, or maybe you have a job where you're able to do this, or something, a relationship making this possible. It could be so many situations, but that's the basic situation. It's very kind of like almost little boy energy. You could be a boy or a girl, but this one is like a little kid just exploring adventures in their imagination. This is getting back like a little child, and this one's a bit more adult, mature energy of making your mark on the world. But they're all kind of self-focused on just creating for yourself and exploring and fun, like child artist energy. Maybe you have a child and you're making art with them or something like that, or for them. Because there's a little bit of this mature, creative, visionary artist leading the way, blazing their own trail, even though no one understands their amazing artist vision yet. So let's look at where this is leading. Wow, it's leading to Roofy. This is a card that comes up a lot lately. Actually, these are both kind of coming up a lot in my readings lately. They're both characters from my game Monster Garden. They're both from level 2, which is about kind of facing this authority and overcoming the authority that's telling you what to do and finding your own voice to stand against that, or figuring out how you respond to this adult world pressure and authority. Roofy is kind of like finding people that support and nurture you how you are. It's not necessarily about changing yourself, but changing the situation in and who you turn to for support. Finding people that no matter how weird you are or what mistakes you make, they're like, okay, that's fine, and they're there with you, giving you a chance, waiting for you to figure things out, not putting harsh pressure on you, not telling you what to do. So continuing the direction with this like creative, playful, fun, child imagination stuff, it feels like it leads to getting the support to just be yourself and be weird. It feels like it maybe might lead to meeting other like-minded people, or maybe just feeling more comfortable doing this with yourself. So this character at first is so anxious about being weird and different. By the end, he not only finds people, other monsters that accept him, but also accepts himself more. So it could be inward or outwardly getting this acceptance just to be your weird self. So it feels like you're kind of on a journey to become a, self-expressive artist or something like that. I mean, expressing yourself not necessarily for anyone else or for a practical goal, imagining new things. I mean, it could be starting a business in theory, but doing something that's like self-starting and very you. I do feel like it's something more like personal and not so much practical and money related with Tukis, because he's very much just kind of quitting this adult world for a second to take some time for yourself. So I think you have something really interesting and exciting going on that it's worth exploring, and um, it's leading towards you just kind of accepting yourself and exploring some new things. And it says ride the wild, riding this kind of wild, funny, new, imaginative journey. Oh, sorry, and then let's see something to keep in mind. It's reversed Drizzy. Yeah, maybe this is something where it really feels like it's just for you and nobody else. Because reversed Drizzy is kind of like feeling like things are pointless, or what's the point? Why am I doing this? So if this is something just for you, just a hobby that no one understands potentially, that does not mean it's worthless. It doesn't have to make money to be worthwhile. It doesn't have to be for other people or understood by other people to be worthwhile. So maybe that's to keep in mind. Don't ever question this or feel like, oh God, it's all pointless. Why am I doing this? It's no one will see this, no one will understand this, it'll never make money. Don't, if you're having any concerns like that, just or be careful and aware of that potential thought creeping into your mind, because this is something so beautiful of imagining, creating for yourself. Don't let anyone tell you, don't let someone else be like, what's the point? This is just silly, stupid stuff. That's what the reverse Drizzy energy is about. It's a character in my game that kind of sees that he's in a game and he's like, this is all nothing, it's just a game. And that can be, in an upright position, it can be positive, like not being intimidated by things. But in reverse, it's kind of like, getting kind of cynical or nihilistic. So don't let anyone convince you that this is just a silly, dumb, little pointless thing. It's something beautiful that it's worth exploring. And if you don't have this acceptance now, developing that acceptance and finding your weird side that maybe is just for you to express and be creative and imagine and just be like a little kid again. I think that's something really beautiful. If this was true for you, please comment in the comments, or if it wasn't true, comment that too. Just comment your thoughts. Let me know what amazing little delightful imaginative journey you're going on, if you are. And thank you for watching this. I'm going to go on to stack 2. Hi, if you chose pile 2, this is your reading with the little beach glass. I'll just set it at the top. So the way this reading works is there's 3 cards that represents the situation, with the idea situation has 3 sides. So it's kind of a stable, ongoing situation. And the card in the middle is where the situation is leading. And this card is kind of something to keep in mind, something outside the situation that could be affecting it. Could be advice or just something to be aware of with this situation. Maybe a mysterious, as yet unknown aspect of the situation. And again, this could be anything, hobbies, work, home, who knows. But let's look at the 3 sides of it first. We've got perception. He's the genius cook who can understand food chemistry and concoct amazing dishes. It says clear vision at the bottom. It's like he's not distracted by what are the conventions of cooking, or what it looks like, or this recipe is confusing. He sees straight to the core of it, how to craft a masterpiece, and no, completely a lot of clarity and honesty. Then we've got the squares. These are just beautiful, gentle monsters. They're in my game Monster Garden. They're just kind of NPCs, if you know game lingo. They're just there in the background. They don't play a big role in the story, but you can talk to them. They just gently compliment you and kind of reassure you. They come in every color of the rainbow, and they bring colorful flowers with them. They just kind of bring joy and light and positive energy gently in the background to your garden. So the point of the game is growing a garden, and these are the first people that can move into your garden, first monsters, and it's just really beautiful, gentle, and complimentary. Then we've got Q. This is a character in Monster Garden, my game, who starts as a bully and he's being mean to the player's character and the player's friends. But if you follow his storyline, it turns out, or she, I suppose Q is a she, the voice actress is a she, or it could be they, I'm not really sure what Q is. And then if you follow their story, Q turns out to have just been hurting on the inside, and that's why they were lashing out at other monsters, because they themselves wanted attention and, were just kind of externalizing their internal pain. And in the end, they decide they want to change their ways. They want to stop hurting themselves and others. They want to start healing. So it's about kind of embarking on a new direction in life with a lot of like awareness of where you've come from and kind of humility and thinking, okay, I made some mistakes, but from here on, I'm going to go in a positive direction. So with the perception card, it feels like you could be realizing some things were not going well, but you want to embark in a new direction now, whether this is at work or in your personal life. Maybe you've suddenly gotten this clarity to see like that was not working for me and I want to go in this new direction, new healthier direction, and move more into this, or maybe what's helping you along and what you're giving yourself and looking for yourself is just this gentle positivity instead of the harsh negativity of that bully way of life. Wanting more just gentle, colorful delight, either including this more in your life or wanting to be more like this yourself. I feel like this could be a lot of situations. Again, it's a general reading. I feel like maybe you're seeing things more clearly than before and wanting to make some major changes in whatever this situation is. So that's a beautiful place to be at. Let's see where the situation is leading. It's leading to Friar, clearing the way energy. This is another monster in Monster Garden. This is a very practical monster about doing the things you can do to get closer to the goal. And this is not, when I say practical, a lot of the times practical means like something that makes money or something. That's a weird way to define practical. This just means getting things done, like focusing on things that can be done. Not big picture things that are like murky and hard to define, but just the more down to earth things like, okay, I'm going to start a routine where I do this each day at this time. I'm going to stop going to that place. So I feel like this is, in this situation, it's leading to you kind of making a practical plan for getting more on this healthy track. Maybe form a routine, or you just do the things you can do now to get closer to this healthier life or situation that you want. So it could just be making some practical changes. Maybe it's not the ultimate biggest changes you want, but just doing what you can do now in order to make it easier for this goal to get to your goal destination. That's what this monster is really about. Because this monster's ultimate goal is just like observing the beautiful world and being in people's presence. The ultimate goal is something that's like intangible and impractical. But this monster is very focused on getting things done in order to get there and not wasting time, no like flowery distractions. So I feel like with this perception, it's like you're done with just the talk about changing and just flowery distractions. Now you're ready to make practical changes to get closer to this new way of life or new situation that's more positive and healing and beautiful and not being harsh or harmful anymore. This is a beautiful reading. Let's see what the extra note is to keep in mind. Wow. It's the knowing, understanding from experience card. This is a character, so these two characters are from a manga, a comic I drew in the past about getting magical powers from eating delicious food. So some people, like this guy, are super tasters who when they eat food, it tastes so good they get magical powers. And he's a character who's not a super taster, but he can cook amazing genius level food to power the super tasters. But this character, at first, he's working for the bad guys. He's a soldier in this bad guy army that wants to deprive people of the power of food. Then his super taster abilities start to emerge, and he's totally embarrassed and ashamed and confused and questioning his life and thinks he's wrong and disgusting. And then he quits the bad guy army and comes to terms with who he is. So this card is about going through intense, transformative, painful, suffering experiences and obtaining that deep inner knowledge about yourself. And just the idea that you obtain something deeper than words when you go through a really hard experience and come out the other side positive and healed. And it's something that you can't share with someone who's never experienced that. Like, you can tell them a story, but they're just not going to get it unless they've gone through it as well. It's about knowing from experience and having this deep strength. Like, this is a strong looking guy, but the point is that he looks strong at first, but he was actually terrified on the inside. But through the story, he becomes actually strong, like actually deeply strong, getting the strength from knowing and accepting yourself. So that's beautiful in this reading. I feel like it's just a sign that that's where you're going. So with this card, I always feel like, you might be in the middle of the hard times right now, but the place that you're going is a beautiful place of knowing, understanding, and strength and healing on the other side. And of course, also, like, some people might not get it. They might not get why you want to make changes in your life. Maybe they don't have the level of perception that you do. So they're like, what are you doing making these changes? But just keep in mind, they might not get it, but it's real for you. And the people who get it will get it. When you meet other people who've been through the same or have the same values, they're going to get it. Other people won't. That's just kind of too bad for the ones who don't. But where you're heading is this deep level of understanding. It sounds like you could be going through something and making some major changes in your life, which looks very beautiful. And I totally respect and appreciate that you're doing that. I think that's beautiful and positive. So just keep in mind, some people will get it, some won't. And it might be harsh and scary right now as you go through that transformation. With Q, it's very similar of really questioning yourself, going from hurtful to healing. It's a lot to recognize your shortcomings and see the things you did wrong and want to change. But that's really amazing to try to do that and heal and go in that more positive direction. So if you felt this was on point or not, feel free to comment in the comment section. Let me know. I'm just going to stop it here. This looks like a really deep and beautiful situation. And yeah, thanks for watching this. And please let me know what you thought in the comments. And I'm going to go on to the next reading. Thank you. Bye. Hi, Pile 3. This is your reading. If you chose this little piece of driftwood, I'll put it right there. So this is an original spread I made called Understanding the Situation. There's 3 cards that represent the situation. The idea is that a situation has 3 sides when it's like a stable, ongoing situation. This card is where the situation is going, where it's headed, and this card is some advice to keep in mind. Just it could be a tip or advice, or just maybe an as yet unknown aspect of the situation, something to think about as a final note. So let's first look at the situation. All right, we've got a lot going on here. 1, we've got the precision, thorough, and complete. Then we've got distance, let it be. And then we've got Foofter, gentleness for all. This is a character from my game Monster Garden. These are characters from a comic I was working on where humans all have an invisible monster ally that gives them superhuman abilities. So this human's monster gives him the ability to sense other people's intentions. It's kind of sitting on his hand, and it can tell him at just an intuitive level, like that person is out for themselves, or this person has a really positive intention. He can kind of sense where people are coming from and whether they're to be trusted. It's also, this is like distance, let it be, kind of monk-like energy of just being a step back and observing things and letting them play out on their own. So that's that card. This card is a character who, um, her monster kind of gives her the ability to just remove obstacles and barriers and kind of disassemble things. Like if there's a big complex system or a big complex lock, she can just undo it and make it like fall apart to the ground. So it's very powerful, about removing obstacles and removing big, scary, confusing, complicated things. They just kind of come undone. It's kind of like undoing, unmaking thoroughly and completely. And in the sense of precision, it's like seeing exactly where to act. The power comes from just seeing exactly where the one part of this knot is to tug, and the whole thing falls apart. It's like very dexterous energy of seeing just where to strike, in a sense, if you want to look at it in that sense, to thoroughly and completely make this thing collapse and fall apart. And then Fufter is the gentleness for all. This is interesting. I can't help but feel a little bit of a conflict between these two cards, because Fufter is this monster who he wants to be friends with all monsters. He never wants to exclude or hurt anyone. He's so much in the sense of including people that he's just so shy. He doesn't know what to say because he doesn't want to hurt a soul. And this is very powerful, like removing all the letting, removing, how do I put this? Things that are hidden and exposing things and making them fall apart. It can be a little bit scary and threatening to like have this power to remove obstacles, undo things. Seeing just where to strike. It's almost like a little bit of like ninja, like seeing someone's weak point. That's scary. If someone can see just where you're weak and where to strike, that's terrifying for a monster like Fufter. So I feel like there may be a situation where you want to do something and make something happen, or take something apart, or like expose something, or uh, make a big change and remove this obstacle holding things back, like let the floods open. But on the other hand, you also don't want to make anyone uncomfortable or do anything too extreme, or rile up people's feathers. And so maybe right now you're just doing nothing and like holding back, just letting it be. This card, it's letting it be in a very positive sense of just like letting things unfold on their own. Realizing it's not your place to be involved, but I feel like maybe you just now feel like you can't be involved, or you don't know what to do because you're tugged in these two directions. You want to make a change, you don't want to bother anybody. That's like a very conflicted place to be in. So I feel like you're kind of maybe ambivalent and stuck in this situation. Let's see where this is going. It's going to the reversed strength. Okay, strength and deep roots. So this is another human character with an invisible monster ally that just gives her superhuman strength. So she just happens to be a very just calm and gentle woman. I feel she's like a gardener. She just can be seen outside watering some garden, watering her plants. No one would think twice walking by, but she has this superhuman strength from her monster, where if she just like pokes a wall, it just collapses, or she can like lift up a truck to let a cat out of underneath or whatever. And it's nothing big to her. She just kind of giggles and like pokes a wall, and it collapses. So again, it's kind of like this card. Sorry, my video froze. I was saying, these are both very powerful cards. It's kind of in different ways. This one is seeing exactly where to strike, and with the minimal amount of effort, making a maximum result. This card is just like having huge amounts of strength below the surface that no one can see, but you kind of pull it out at the right times. In the reversed, I feel like that can mean being unable to really show your true strengths, or not having your true strengths seen and recognized by others. So I feel like whatever you do, it might not be possible that other people like understand or appreciate what you do. And that's not necessarily a negative thing. It might just mean you just don't need to, or you can't take other people's opinions into consideration in the decision about what you finally do. Like, you've got to make a tough decision, it looks like, and other people might not know where you're coming from or really appreciate how hard this is for you. And that's just a part of the situation too. It's leading to, and no matter what you do, you just might not get from other people them seeing what you went through or really getting it. That could be good or bad, but let's look at the extra card to see a kind of something to keep in mind because it sounds like a pretty intense situation. And wow, the thing to keep in mind is ready awaiting orders. Yet another human character. The human characters, there's fewer of them than the monster cards in my deck, so I feel like whenever there's a human character, it's kind of intense or a lot or very special, like the Major Arcana and Tarot. So this could be a pretty intense major situation, but this is the card. His monster gives him the power to just jump around, be very physically able, doing backflips and stuff like that. You got a lot of very physical cards like manual dexterity, superhuman strength, and this kind of acrobatic skill. But he's just ready for action. So he's also like, I see him in a tent on the battlefield with a map on a table, and he's saying to you, you have the skills, you have the experience, you have the know-how, and we've got this army ready to go. It's like you're the general, and he's just saying, where do we move the troops? Because we're totally ready. So in this reading, I take that as meaning you know what to do with, and you have everything you need to make this decision. Or you don't need to question yourself. Like you have the knowledge and experience and wisdom. I think this sounds like a situation where you know what to do, but you're conflicted by like not wanting to stop on people's toes, but wanting to do something, and you're just kind of held back and doing nothing. This is saying you know exactly what to do. So trust yourself. You are ready for action and to make this decision. And I think just the place it's going is that maybe other people aren't going to appreciate how hard this decision was for you or how much strength it took for you to do it. They might criticize you or something, but this, I feel like this is saying you know what to do. It's the right thing for you. Just go for it and make this decision, whatever this is. I keep calling it a decision. I feel like you're in a situation where you have to decide something or do something. It could just be starting something, putting something into action. This card is very clearly saying jump into action. Like right now, you're more of this reserved, passive monk. The note to keep in mind was this is almost the opposite. This is like when you need to take a step back and let things unfold on their own. And this is when you're totally ready to jump into action with everything you need. So I think this is maybe how you feel now, and this is where you actually are in the direction you should be going in. So yeah, that was an intense one. This was a general reading. I know it could have been all types of situations. Please feel free to leave in the comments if you thought this was accurate in your situation or if you thought it wasn't. Let me know what you thought. And if you enjoyed this, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. There'll be more readings all the time. Maybe some more original readings like this, or maybe some more general ones about various topics. And good luck with whatever type of situation this is. And thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video. And sorry about that little technical glitch in the middle where my video froze. And thank you. Bye.